Hello everyone, and welcome to Outside. The series, of course, we're going outside zombies maps, such as Tag Der Toten, which we're going to do today. I got a mod menu on me, and it allows me to do things such as turn on God mode, as well as no clip, and we can fly on up and get a different perspective over this map. I myself have never played Tag Der Toten. In fact, I've never played any of the DLC maps of Black Ops 4, but I've certainly played Call of the Dead, so I'm pretty excited to see how this map compares to it. I can see there's obviously been some new additions. Yeah, I can't wait to see what's going on up there, so let's get right into it. So I think the first thing I want to start with is what's going on out there. Or at least I think it's over here. I actually have no idea. But even I know the legend of this map that is the Mars Easter egg, and I can't wait to see it for myself. So let's see if we can find it. I know it has something to do with one of these icebergs outside the map, but it doesn't look like it's these two, so let's go see what's going on over here. So it looks like we got ourselves a very strange looking iceberg, actually, with a hole in the middle. And it does seem like we can walk on this too. It has full collision, which is kind of cool. And I don't think you can normally do that for the Easter egg. Like, there is a barrier around this, right? Yeah, there definitely is. As far as I understand, you normally get flung from inside the map all the way over here and then dropped into the water, where you then, of course, can swim on through this, like, rocky cave here under the water, and on the other side, well, you're met with this. And, oh my god, is it beautiful. So I suppose the implication of this is that we're on one of Mars's moons, which I suppose would make sense looking at this. Although, as far as I understand, there's definitely not one that has water on it, so that's a little bit strange at the very least. But oh my god, imagine seeing Mars rise in the morning over the water like this. Awesome. So below me right here, although, you know, my body is kind of in the way, which, yeah, sorry about that. It's kind of just a side effect of Black Ops 4. But here is the little landing area that we come out on and we can see, of course, Mars from. And right over there to our right is the iceberg itself, which pops out of existence when we get far enough away from it. But of course, we'll come back when we get close to it, and we can see the skybox will, of course, change back to the normal Tag Der Toten skybox. Which, I mean, that sunset is pretty attractive as well, I'm not gonna lie. And if we go ahead and fly back on over here, we can see the exact point where the skybox changes back and forth here, and we can literally just have Mars appear before our eyes. And it is possible to be at a point where we have the entirety of Tag Der Toten still loaded in over there, but we also have the Mars skybox and, of course, the little landing zone that we come out on, which is a really cool perspective to have, but unfortunately, there's no way to keep it, as far as I understand. Like, I'm trying to do some real roundabout stuff here just to go around the entire map and trying to get that to stay in, but it doesn't seem like it wants to. Though we had like a weird transition sky there for a second. That was strange. But yeah, nonetheless, this is probably one of the coolest Easter eggs in Black Ops 4, at least to me. I mean, I'm a big space guy. I've done astrophysics research before, so this just hits at home. But alright, I think it's time we head on back to Tag Der Toten and check out some more details. So perhaps first we should talk about like the construction of the actual map itself. And it is kind of interesting, actually. So first of all, of course, we have the normal, like, layer of ground. But underneath everything, we have water stretching end to end through the entirety of the map.
Ooh, I can't feel my feet anymore.
From what I found, you can go underneath this water, and this is what it looks like. It's very dark, of course. So it's not the most interesting thing in the world. The only thing really to note down here is that there's some kind of funny things going on with some textures. Like this one right here, for instance, which is literally just kind of looks like a black wall. But when you go up to the surface, you start to understand exactly where this comes from. It's quite literally just part of the mountain texture here. Continuing further under the ground, a lot further under the ground than it would really ever need to. Well, hopping on back into spawn here, we got a few windows to check out. Let's go ahead and hop on into this one first. We can see how it's carved kind of into rock here, although there is actually like a wall here. And behind this corner, well, it's extremely liminal. There's some real funky stuff going on with the textures, and there's just a little space for zombies to spawn out of sight. Over on this side of spawn, we got a pair of windows, actually, and if we hop on out of this one, we can see that there's not really that much to explore, to be honest with you. And this is kind of going to be the case for most of the window locations that lead outwards. It seems the map devs just kind of created a little plateau here for some zombies to spawn, and it doesn't seem like the two areas connect. Although, something I found kind of interesting about this window location is if we go on over here, it'll immediately just teleport me under the map, which is kind of strange. Usually this only happens when there's like a big collision barrier, and when I exit no clip inside of a barrier, of course, it will immediately pop me out to one of the sides. And it seems like for some reason, this one just decides to pop me all the way down here in some very, I don't know where I am. We do seem to have collision down here, though, and actually a lot of it. It's a pretty large space, and we can walk on over to that texture that we saw earlier and get a different view from it as well. And oh my god, what is this? So right here under spawn, right next to where we just were, is this massive green array of... I don't know what this is or why it's here. Oh, I'm stuck in ice. So looking closely at it, it does kind of seem like it's just a grid of the same little picture over and over again, and then a second layer of like glass on top of it. Yeah, I'm not sure what the significance of this is. It might be Easter egg related, so let me know down in the comment section if you guys know. I'd love to hear about it. So I think that's pretty much it for window locations here in Spawn, so let's start making our way out. We got two directions we could go: through the Stamin-up building right here, or back over there towards where the normal location for Speed Cola is. And I think I want to go through Stamin-up building first, so let's go ahead and do that. So hopping on through the door.
Like a good place to get yourself cornered. May as well call it the rip out your throat house.
Oh, she has a good point, but stop interrupting me. Yeah, in here we really only have one window location. If we hop on into it, it's not a super interesting one. We just got some pipes here, a little corner for zombies to spawn in, and that is about it. And oh my god, the talking fish. If that thing would just start singing right now, that would be fantastic. Oh, and there's even an Origins record right there. Dude, there's a lot of things hidden in the Stamin-up house. Oh my god. I mean, it's definitely a cool little building, but let's go ahead and move onward towards the lighthouse. The first creation, holding power over reality itself. Without it, they are lost. And we got a picture of the summoning key. I gotta say, although I hated Black Ops 4, the atmosphere of this map, I mean, it's definitely starting to feel like Call of the Dead. Even with these little window locations just carved into rock here, this one actually doesn't go very far. And it kind of ends with nothingness here. We get a look out in some very liminal space. You know, looking at this now, it's actually kind of crazy how perfectly they hid that around the corner. Like, if I step just a slight bit out of the way of where the window is, we can just start to get a glimpse outside the map. Over here for this window, it looks a little bit more interesting. We got ourselves a staircase, which I actually remember from Call of the Dead 2. Although here in Black Ops 4, it's certainly a lot more HD. And around the corner, well, again, we get another look into a very strange looking area. The bottom of the lighthouse from here looks crazy, dude. And there's also this platform down here, which looks like a massive brush just, well, I guess just covering the bottom of spawn here, kind of? Well, I guess not really spawn, I guess next to spawn. So, I mean, I gotta try it. The slide still works, right? Oh yeah, it sure does. Seems slower in this, though. Maybe that's just me. And what's going on down here? So this just leads us back to spawn, probably, right? Yeah, sure enough it does. Well, I mean, we might as well check out this area a little bit while we're here. Of course, around the outskirts of it, there is just a ton of water. Although it certainly is pretty cool to get a different perspective on things. And this, like, broken little house here, it looks kinda awesome from this angle. Oh, there's a scarecrow, not available yet. Huh. Is that like a challenge system or something? We got, like, little arms on this guy. Who are you? Sorry, guys, I know this series is, of course, called Outside, but I haven't ever played this map, and I loved Call of the Dead, so I will be checking out a lot of stuff that's inside the map as well. I hope that's alright. Anyway, entering the lighthouse here, we got a couple windows to check out. Let's just hop on into this one. We got another little ice tunnel here that leads off to some very liminal space as well. We also got this window on the other side. If we hop on into it, it actually just ends right here. There's no, like, hidden space here. So I guess zombies must just spawn here in sight of the player, which is kind of strange. But if we go ahead and walk through this wall, we can see it doesn't have any collision. And on the other side, the tunnel does actually continue further, again, looking out to that liminal space. And oh my god, it kind of looks like there's geysers here, although I know that's not what that is. Oh, and we get a peek into the PhD building just like before. I can't wait to check that out and see what's going on in there. Especially with the old Easter egg room, like, surely something has changed, right? Maybe? I might be being a little bit too hopeful. Heading on up the stairs here, we got a couple more windows to check out. Let's go ahead and hop on into this one. We got a little staircase here around the corner, and it looks like it kind of just leads to nowhere, although there is a very small little crawl space here. And if we go ahead and no-clip on through it, we can see at least where it would have led to, which is up here towards this platform. or at the very least, like out of this rock somewhere here connecting to this pathway, but it definitely doesn't seem like there's any intention for that. On the other side, we also have this window, which kind of just leads out to a nice little plateau here and gives us a beautiful view of the ship, actually. I mean, there's a lot of bad things to say about Black Ops 4, but the art style is definitely not one of them. Oh, and it actually leads down here to a pool. So this is literally the map right there. I just can't walk to it. There's just a strange barrier cutting me off. And it really looks like you would be able to, too. And up one more flight of stairs. Just like before, we got 2 more windows. These ones both lead to the outside, however. And just like in Black Ops 1, they both have little plateaus here that we could just walk on. Which I'm kind of wondering how much of this does have collision. It seems like I can walk on all of this. And there's even like a little puddle here that I can swim in. Can we walk up the mountain? No, we can't walk up the mountain. That's unfortunate. You can't have everything in life, you know? If we head out the other window instead, we can see this one actually has a bit of a walkway here that just kind of cuts off, and the collision with it does as well. If we no-clip on over to the other side, we can see there's just a big old barrier over this area. I'm not sure if this is a space you can normally get to at some point in the Easter egg, maybe, because it kind of seems like it's just blocked off for me right now. There is a control panel here, though, which actually looks a lot like the one on Moon, at least that one on the right does. And this one on the left, I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, definitely some cool detailing that I don't remember being in Call of the Dead. I'm pretty sure this is not in Black Ops 1. Although, maybe the editing version of me can remind us for a second. Is that a bird? We got a bird! Hey, buddy! Where you going? Wow, what a specimen. And for our final trip up the stairs, we're met with this. My friends, Sam, Eddie, Beast, and Fluffy. So obviously the Beast with the 3 heads here, right? This is talking about, well, it's talking about Margwas, right? Although this doesn't really look like one. Maybe it's talking about like the Shadows of Evil Beast, but I kind of doubt it. And of course we know who Fluffy is. That's, you know, the reason Hellhounds exist. But seeing the sock puppet version of Sam and Eddie, I mean, that's just hilarious. And up at the top, we do have some very Shadows of Evil looking text here. Or at least that's immediately what comes to mind when I look at this. I'm assuming most people probably just think Apothecon, huh? And a little chest here, too, which definitely seems to be Russian. I'm guessing there's something good in there. Oh, and there's another chest over here with the 935 logo on it. Oh my god, it's got a Wunderwaffe! That's awesome. I do kind of remember hearing the Wunderwaffe was on this map, but it was very different. I've never used it, so maybe we'll try and get that here in this video at some point.
A few moments later.
Well, I've hit a lot of boxes, and it doesn't seem like there's any way to get this wonder weapon out of it. Like, I haven't even seen it spin past. But let's just take another look at this again. It definitely looks way different than the normal Wunderwaffe. It's got like a little scope on it even. It does still have the like knobs there on the side of it, but like the stock and the foregrip going on right there, it's very different. And as far as the Tundra gun, like, is that what's in here? I have no idea. Oh, yeah, it definitely is. That's a Thunder gun, all right. So if we head on out to the balcony here, around the corners, of course, there are 2 window locations, which just like Call of the Dead, it seems they haven't changed very much. They're pretty much just filling the space here of the lighthouse that hasn't been used by the playable space. If we head on through this wall right here, we should immediately just pop right on into the next one here around the corner, and then through this door, of course, we end up back into the playable space of the lighthouse. And looking on up at this ladder here, which I don't remember being here before, if we go ahead and... Oh, there's a guy up there, isn't there? Yeah, so this I definitely did not know about, but if we go ahead and fly on up, we can at least take a look at the guy. It seems like they have him in front of a very, very bright light here, so we can cast his shadow, of course, on the wall. And I mean, there's me standing right next to him. He looks huge compared to me. And we can get a decent look at the guy. He's pretty tattered. It looks like he's been here for a minute. And when he turns, we can get a decent look at his face as well. All of it is very well modeled. I mean, I don't know who this guy is, or if you ever even actually get to see him, like, during the Easter egg. I imagine he's definitely Easter egg related. Like, if I go down and open the door, is there a voice line that happens? Let me go do that. By the debris, and we get a voice line.
Los pollitos dicen pío, 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 cuando tienen hambre, cuando tienen frío. I'm freezing my ass off and I'm really hungry, but I never eat that stuff they feed their zombies. Yes, keep coming. I am all the way up top. Oh, you look just like I pictured you. Never mind. Just Bring me the blue rock from the cave. You do that, and I can help you survive, huh?
All right, well, there's our answer. We definitely do get a voice line. Looks like he wants us to bring a blue rock from the cave. Honestly, I immediately have an idea of where that blue rock probably is. Like, is he talking about this cave over here? Like, where all the blueness is? Probably, right? We'll check that out in just a bit. As for the rest of the lighthouse, if we go ahead and fly on up into where the light actually comes from, we can see there isn't actually any, like, physical light source. Like, there's no light bulb in here. Which, I say that because I believe it was Blood of the Dead, which had a literal light bulb, like a normal household light bulb, just sitting in the top of a lighthouse. And I thought that was hilarious. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the area above me has collision, but we can walk on top of this part of the lighthouse at least, and get a lookout on the map, which, again, this map is quite beautiful. And yeah, also that place, cannot wait to get there. And I'm immediately wondering, like, storyline-wise, how is this allowed to be here when in Call of the Dead, of course, none of that was there whatsoever. It was just a big old mountain. I imagine this is some alternate reality where maybe development happened here a little bit more, and maybe the events of Call of the Dead didn't. But you guys are going to have to let me know down below. Again, I'm not a storyline guy, and I'm relying on you guys a lot to teach me. But perhaps that'll change soon. For our next step of the journey, let's go ahead and hop on out with this door here, go on down the most iconic staircase in Call of Duty, because I think still to this day, the intro cutscene of Call of the Dead is one of my favorite intro cutscenes ever. There's just something about it, man, that just, it hits the right spot. Of course, we're immediately met with the window where the first zombie came out in Call of the Dead, and if we go ahead, oh my god, I don't have God mode up. Much better. But if we go ahead and go around the corner, there isn't much here. We can just see there's a little space for zombies to spawn. And other than that, it's really just like a concrete hallway here under the rock. If we did continue on here, we could see that the pathway itself would have just like led out to nowhere. I suppose it could be theorized that this pathway would have just led up through this, well, I guess through the mountain up to this facility now. Although, obviously, when we go in here, we can see that this cave is in the way, but not only that, well, it just really wouldn't make a ton of sense. Of course, if we go that way, it takes us down to spawn, which we'll do in a second, but we gotta check out PhD building, right? Which, there's definitely no PhD here, unfortunately. Really miss that perk, not gonna lie. Well, we got a window upstairs, so let's go ahead and check that out first. Hopping on into it, we can see around the corner, this area actually looks almost identical to the way that Call of the Dead looked. I mean, obviously, like, some of the textures are a bit different, but this is pretty much what the space was like. There's a space over here that we can just walk on top of. We got collision with, but there isn't any texture here for the ground. But heading on down here, I mean, the main thing that I want to check out is this. Which, it doesn't seem like the fuse is in here. So, did that whole thing happen in this timeline? I'm really not sure. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop on into it. And, oh my god, there's an actual room here. Wait, what? Oh, okay, there's a part. So I imagine that this is obviously part of the Easter egg. Somehow you open up that door and you get to see the interior of this place. And it's kind of cool that there's a space here I can stand out of bounds as well and get a look at what's going on in here, which, I mean, there's not exactly all that much. We do have some sort of blue rock, though, and of course, a whole lot of shelving with some, like, TVs and old radios. And I'm not seeing any vodka bottles, so it doesn't seem like the crew have been here before. At least in this timeline. And by the looks of it, it doesn't seem like I can pick up this blue rock here without opening the door, doing whatever Easter egg it is that is related to that. Unfortunately, the interaction is just turned off and it's floating here, glowing out of sight. Yeah, that was really cool. I didn't expect that. Although, I mean, it makes sense. You make a Call of the Dead remake, how are you not gonna make that into an Easter egg somehow? It would just be a shame if they didn't. I gotta say, the PhD building here is probably one of the coolest areas on the map, at least like just external look-wise. It really gives that feel that the original maps did with like how the building itself is constructed. They did a great job making it feel like it was a World War II building set here for some research done by some nefarious people. So heading on down the staircase here, we're gonna make our way through the tunnel and back towards the original spawn, but first, we do have a window location here, and inside of it, it kind of looks like a little, like, mine shaft kind of thing going on here. Like, we got a bunch of wood supports, and at the back of it, of course, well as a bunch of nothingness. We can actually walk through this too, and we do end up on a bit of a platform that has collision, and it does actually have walls to it too. Like, I can't walk this way. I'm not sure what the barrier is that I'm walking into or why it's here, but it is kind of cool to see underneath this entire area. I mean, we're underneath the mountain right now, looking up at that facility, which we'll check out soon enough, but I just love liminal spaces like this. It certainly gives you a different perspective on how a map is made, and how many painstaking hours go into every little detail, constructing all of those playable spaces above us. Oh yeah, so that guy in the lighthouse said something about a blue rock, right? So, is that this? Oh, yeah, it is.
Check. Blue rock. Check. Weirdo Hermit asking me to fetch it for him. Yeah, check that too.
Can I bring it to him? I imagine I can, right? Is that like the first step of the Easter egg? I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're gonna do it.
I can hold the rock up with this. Then give me a moment, eh?
Oh, you sent something down for me. So that did actually change his animation for a bit. He was kind of in like a crouched position. But yeah, anyway, can I give you the rock?
Take it, mister. Hey, how long you been hiding up there?
Okay, it just disappears.
Yes, lab output focused. Now I can definitely help you. Amigos, there are machines out there under the ice that can add real punch to your weapons. Keep turning on power switches, and I will expose them from up here with the lighthouse beam.
That shadow looks hilarious. Okay, so he said we gotta keep on turning on power switches, which I did turn on the one in spawn. I didn't say anything about it. But yeah, this is on, so I imagine there's more of them around the map. Like, probably one inside the ship, for instance, which we'll get to that soon enough. But first, let's head on into the spawn area of Call of the Dead. It definitely looks like this place has changed a bit. I mean, first of all, there is a lot less snow. Like, you can see the ground, like the mud itself, a lot more. So it seems like things have been warming up here a bit in Tag Der Toten, although obviously the water does still freeze you. Oh, and we got a new window location here, so I guess let's check that out first. I'm gonna go ahead and hop on into it. Got a little bit of a mining tunnel with a whole bunch of 115 in it, and at the back, well, it opens up to some more liminal space here beneath the mountain. Kind of a cool little area. And of course, this window location does have this bluish glow. It's kind of cool to see how they did this. If we just turn back around, of course, it kind of just blinds us, but there's a massive blue light here just right in front of the window. It's kind of cool how they can make this work, because you're quite literally just looking at the back of it. It starts right about there. Here around the spawn area, of course, we have a couple of the normal window locations from Call of the Dead, such as this one, although it actually has... Oh, okay, well, it popped me up here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the game wants me to walk out here, but there is another little mining tunnel, which kind of looks like that window location we were just in. Actually, it looks a lot like it. And that immediately makes me wonder whether they were originally going to let you walk out there and have that be another window location, just like this one over here. But perhaps that's just there for some ambiance, and I'm assuming zombies probably spawn in there and then walk on out to the window. Now, there's not really any other window locations here in spawn, but just because we can, let's get a little different perspective on the out-of-bounds area here that, of course, we can normally see, but we don't get to see it from this angle. And oh my god, is it a sight. Man, it's really awesome to see all of the work that went into making just, like, sheets of ice here. And obviously, of course, a lot of them are copy and pasted. Like, you can certainly see some patterns here. Like, for instance, this one right here is this one, the exact same, except, of course, it's made larger, right? So they literally just dragged, dropped it, copied it, and I mean, there's actually 3 of them here right next to each other. But it looks like they scattered these very far, and they reach out quite a bit, wrapping all the way towards the side of the mountain. If I go underneath spawn right here, we can see that there are some, like, lava, yeah, I guess, like, molten rock little platforms. I imagine these are part of some kind of Easter egg step where you gotta, like, hop on them and avoid the water, probably. Maybe there's some kind of path you gotta follow around the map, kind of similar to Origins, actually, if that is the case. Like, it reminds me a lot of the Muddy Rock step for the, what was that? Was that for the G-Strikes? Oh man, it's been a bit since I've done an Origins Easter egg. I gotta do that again. Which I noticed over here by where Speed Cola normally is on Call of the Dead. If I go under the ground, the same can be said. There's a bunch more of these lava rocks leading up towards... well, I guess towards the ship. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm right about what I said, but I got a feeling that's what's going on. Let me know down in the comment section below. Okay, it's time. Here we go, heading on out of spawn towards the ship. I did not mean to buy that door, but, well, can't be undone, can it? And we're met with this, the place above creation. The war spilled into our world. Now all is corrupted. This is us in the middle, I guess? And then this is the place below creation. So what, heaven, hell, us in purgatory? That is definitely, that's definitely the Apothecon guy, right? From Revelations? So starting off here on the ship, I think we're going to go ahead and begin here on the stern, and then make our way towards the front of the ship. Here at the back, we got ourselves a window location. If we hop on into it, it has a little staircase that leads on down to some ambient lighting here around the corner, which, again, this area does look a lot like Call of the Dead. It does seem like they're staying true to form here for Tag. And if we hop on up, we'll see that there is more space to the right and the left, which, if we no clip, there isn't a ton going on here, but if we go underneath it, well, we can get to see a little bit more about how this place was constructed, and of course the inside of the boat here, just how empty it is. Oh, and it's still there. Yeah, it's definitely still here. I imagine throwing grenades at these does nothing anymore, but pretty awesome to see that this is just chilling down here in the water. And there's also this, which is Golden Pack-a-Punch. So one of you guys let me know in the comments on Classified that there's apparently a Golden Pack-a-Punch location for each one of the Black Ops 4 maps. And this is a place where you can essentially get a special Pack-a-Punch or something like that, from what I understand. I've never done it myself, but there's some kind of Easter egg attached to it that allows us to use this jump pad and fling ourselves over to here. Which is also why when I try and land here, it immediately flings me back. Because of course, the area is set to do not allow player here. Player must be flinged back to playable space. Yeah, I'm sure that is exactly what it says in the code. It doesn't even let me get up close and personal to it in no clip, which is kind of unfortunate. It pretty much just immediately takes me, well, I guess out of no clip, because I can't no clip around afterward. I have to exit it and then go back into it, which is kind of strange. But we can at least take a look around the area, and of course underneath it. Let's just see how this is constructed. Actually, looking at it here, although it's kind of hard to see because of the water, it does seem like there is an actual iceberg here that just reaches down below. Pretty cool that they left that detail in there because, of course, they didn't have to. I mean, there's no way that you would see that. But it is real to life, obviously. Icebergs, whenever you see something like this, for instance, that's just sitting above the water, there should be a much, much larger piece of ice underneath. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this one is the same. Alright, back into the ship. We got one more window location here on the stern. If we go ahead and hop on into it, it is another staircase, much like the other one, with a big old ambient light here around the corner for zombies to spawn in and then come on up the stairs at you. But moving on into the gangway. That's what this is called, the gangway? Well, anyways, we do have a couple of windows here. Let's go ahead and hop on into this one first. We can see around the corner there is a staircase, although that staircase doesn't exactly lead anywhere. And there's a really weird, like, chunk of ship here that's just blocking it. Like, this staircase definitely wouldn't work. If we clip on through this, we can see that this chunk of ship is quite literally just the kitchen here, which I don't think Call of the Dead had, so that's probably why that's there. On Call of the Dead, I don't remember this being an issue. I think the staircase was just normal, right? And you had headroom to be able to walk down it. But it seems here in Tag Der Toten, well, they added a bit more detail here to the mess hall, and because of that, well, they blocked the staircase in the process. But moving on into this mess hall, if we go ahead and hop on into this window, we can see, well, first of all, it's actually quite large, and it's also very well modeled. We got some fridges here, as well as a little sink and stuff, and a whole lot of blood on the floor. And at the back, there is a door, which if we go through it, it just leads on through to this part of the ship, which is kind of cool to see that this entire space here in between the two playable areas of the ship is completely covered by that window. And then heading on up to the second deck here of the ship, which apparently is called Navigation. Never would have known that playing Call of the Dead only, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if these are like legitimate terms, but I'm assuming it's calling it that because of all of this equipment in here. I mean, that would make a lot of sense, but what the heck is this? Inside of here, of course, we have a window, so let's go ahead and hop on into it. We got another one of those screens, almost identical, and a whole bunch of other stuff in here as well. We got a couple desks, a picture on the wall of a guy I definitely don't recognize. Yeah, I'm not sure who this is supposed to be, but it's definitely some kind of Russian general. And on the wall, well, we got a chalkboard with some orbital dynamics in Russian. Now, I don't know Russian, so I'm not sure what these labels mean, but I'm really interested to find out whether this is Earth and its moon, or if this is Mars and perhaps Deimos. But we do have a little bit of math going on, as well as, well, we got a circuit diagram up there. Not sure what that has to do with the whole orbital dynamics part of it. I love details like this in zombies. Like, for instance, like the first chalkboards of Derice, I used to stare at them for a long time. I was a nerdy little kid. Of course, I didn't know what half of it meant back then, and now I do, but it's still like a special thing to me. I love this stuff. And lastly, of course, at the back, we got a big old control panels, a few lockers, and a phone on the wall. Nice. Oh, it's another one of these guys. Look at that. Did they find him here somehow? Is that like a drawing of a washed up whale, essentially? Although obviously it's not a whale, but you know what I mean. And you got like a couple guys like going to it. Are they underwater? Because it looks like they're just floating. Not exactly sure what's going on here. Around the outside, we got another window location. Let's go ahead and hop on into this one. And around the corner, we went with another big old bright light and a little control panel that definitely looks worse for wear. I mean, this looks way older than all of the other equipment on the ship, and I'm not sure if that's, like, supposed to be the case. Like, perhaps all of this navigation equipment here is just, like, modern stuff that was added, or at least kept up with, while the rest of this stuff over here, well, it's very clear no one's been keeping track of this. And just because I think it's cool, let's go ahead and hop on into this door right here. You can see it just leads right here underneath the stairs. I'm not exactly sure why this is the case. It did the same thing in Call of the Dead, and it just makes no sense whatsoever. Or at least to me, it makes no sense. Like, why would you want a door underneath a staircase? I don't know. But nonetheless, it is cool to see that it does actually connect to a physical space in the map and doesn't just go to nowhere. But moving on up, our last flight of stairs here in the ship, we're met immediately with a window location, so let's just go ahead and hop on in. And on the ground, we got a hard hat. I actually thought that was a watermelon at first, I'm not gonna lie. I was about to go knife that. But around the corner, we got a little place for zombies to spawn. There's not a ton going on. There's just a little poster on the wall. Cool little space, but yeah, there's not a lot to say. And around the corner, we can go on inside the power room here, or at least the original power room. Although it does seem like it does still work, so there's our second power switch done for ya.
Public address system is on. This is Nikolai Belinsky of Red Army.
A Russian, huh? Well, this is Siberia.
Wait, Nikolai just talked to me? What's Nikolai doing here, man? I'm guessing that was a pre-recorded message, or at least supposed to be. Obviously, I mean, this is a video game. Everything is a pre-recorded message. Kind of ironic saying that, isn't it? Anyway, we got a window in here. Let's go ahead and hop on into it. We got some more control panels and a round the corner. Oh my god. So, first of all, we got the XYZ, which of course are just for, like, reference of the planes here for developers, and there's a random 2 just floating here. It seems like this 2 is always facing the player, so I can turn and it'll just follow my camera at all times, which is really strange when I just, like, look up and down. Yeah, I have no idea why this is here. Obviously, it's for testing. I imagine the map maker needs these XYZ things to be able to keep themselves in the plane and understand what's going on, especially on a ship like this that's tilted where the ground is not level. But as for this 2, I have absolutely no idea why it's here. Really weird. Definitely one of the strangest things we've seen so far in Black Ops 4. And lastly for the ship here, let's go ahead and go on up top and just take a quick little walk on top and take a look at this beautiful map once again. The view from here is remarkable. I know playing Call of the Dead, I've always wondered what it would be like being up here, shooting zombies down below that are just trying to get up the ladder at you. But with Tag here, having a massive facility up above you, it just makes you look to higher heights, doesn't it? So I think that is all for this back portion of the boat right here, so let's go ahead, move on to the second half of the ship. And before we check this out, I'm going to take a sip of the coffee, because of course, I have my coffee with me here this morning. I hope wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this, you're enjoying yourself, because I am definitely. I've said it before in other episodes, Black Ops 4 was a breaking point for me in Call of Duty, at least for zombies. I mean, it really made me feel a bit disenfranchised with the series, and the gameplay of it, the way the perks were changed, I mean, it just didn't feel like zombies anymore to me. But looking back at some of these maps, it's just absolutely beautiful, man. Seeing Call of the Dead being remade here, It definitely makes me wish that I gave these DLC maps a shot, although I have a feeling the gameplay of them I still probably wouldn't enjoy because Black Ops 4 had a lot of boss zombies, and like weird types of them too, and it was just kind of overwhelming. I'm not sure if that's the case here on Call of the Dead, obviously. I have never played the map legitimately, but looking at the art design here and how amazing it is, it really makes me want to. I mean, this map is just absolutely beautiful, and there's some really cool mechanics as well with like the golden pack-a-punch idea. I love that. I think that's really cool. And also having a hermit in the lighthouse as an Easter egg, and you gotta like do tasks for him to be able to do it. Still really wonder who this guy is. It definitely seems like he's been here for a long time considering the SOS symbol. But yeah, anyway, I am really enjoying this map, and if you are as well, leave a like down below. Helps me out a ton, and of course, make sure you're subscribed so you can come back for more. But without further ado, let's continue. So moving along the main deck here, of course, we have a staircase that leads us to the cargo hold, which before we check it out, I actually want to look back towards the front section of the ship. There's some really cool out-of-bounds areas over here that you don't normally get to go to, so let's go ahead and fly on over and just see if we can walk on through it. Well, okay, unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a lot of collision here. Oh my god, where am I right now? It's a very weird section of the ship. Oh no, the ice is coming fast. But it does look like we can walk inside this hallway, and it's actually quite a large hallway. Like, the width of it is massive. And there's a door here, which, if we go through it, well, unfortunately, of course, it doesn't exactly lead anywhere, but we can get out into the liminal space here and take a look at this externally. Definitely a cool little area, and added for that extra ambiance, making you feel like there's more to the ship than there actually is. It does a great job at it. There's also this pathway on the right, which kind of has just like a rock blocking it. But on the other side, there is a little platform here we can walk on, and of course, there's a door that, well, wait, it does have something on the other end of it. It's just darkness. If I give myself unlimited ammo here, I can at least shoot about for a decent bit, and we can get a look at the space. There's not much going on with the wall textures. They're pretty plain. And there's obviously absolutely no modeling in here, but it's really cool to see that it exists nonetheless. I'm not sure why it does. Makes you wonder if there was originally going to be some kind of plan for it, but somehow it got scrapped in development. Not exactly sure. Reminds me a lot of that hidden hallway that we found outside on Voyage of Despair, inside the ship there, that just kind of led to nowhere. And as for the cargo hold itself, we do have one window location here in the back corner, which if we hop on into it, it's kind of a cool little space. We got a lot of like pipes and stuff and some guardrails. And of course, around the corner, some more ambient lighting. Seems like this is some kind of like little maintenance room. We got a generator chilling at the back. And we even have a door here, which if we go through it, it doesn't exactly lead anywhere interesting. There's a bit of a liminal space here, although you could see how it could have connected to this area here, which is a window location around the corner. And there's another one of these navigation screens here too. And what's kind of cool about this window location, too, is it does have another door in it. This one, though, does lead to an area. It does make sense. Although on the other side, there isn't a door here. But this is simply just that window location we were just in that leads out to the cargo hold. Ooh, we got blueprints for the Thunder Gun. Although I think this is the Tundra Gun, right? That's what it's called in this map. It's like a snow-based Thunder Gun. But anyway, moving further on into the ship here, of course, we have a staircase that we can go on through.
The hell is that floating around?
And what's happening here? So we got a frozen guy, looking not too great, unfortunately, reaching up towards this. Yeah, it definitely seems like there was some guys in here when this erupted from whatever this is above us, and they didn't really have a great fate. It seems like they just froze in place, actually, which is kind of strange. On the wall, we got some more of those apothecary symbols, and we got a window location. Let's go ahead and hop on into it. There's not much going on around the corner, but definitely a cool little space nonetheless. And looking out of it to that, I mean, that's just nuts. And over in this corner, we do have some more symbols on the wall, and yet another window location, which just crashed my game. I think I accidentally just hit map restart. That's annoying.
You are real, right? This is not a trick. Hey, can I ask you to put that blue rock on my dumbwaiter? I can hold the rock up with this.
It's kind of cool that he had a different voice line if I picked up the blue rock before finding him. But anyways, where we were before, let's go ahead and hop on into this window location. We got some boxes here, it looks like, at the back, with some Groot 935 logos on it, so you can definitely tell they've been involved. And around the other side, well, it's actually pretty empty. Just a little area for zombies to spawn out of sight and coming out the window at you. And just like Call of the Dead, you can get a look out towards some space here on the side of the ship. Although here in Tag Der Toten, it definitely looks a lot different and seems like it's playable space. Yeah, it definitely is. There's a wall by here. But it looks like there's something blocking our way back towards spawn, so I'm not sure how you get this to be removed, but it doesn't look like spending points is the way. There's still a decent bit of out-of-bounds space here between the two areas you can play in, though. And all of that does still have collision, like I can walk through it all, other than, of course, the models here, like these rocks you can just walk right on through.
Ooh, I swear my blood must be turning to slush.
But the water we can swim in, and it does freeze us. So I'm immediately wondering why this pathway here just cuts off and you can't walk into the ship. I mean, obviously there's fire and there's an ice piece here, but it feels like you should be able to, doesn't it? Kind of a strange choice to not allow that. Maybe there's some kind of step you can do to make that go away so that, well, I guess so that you can walk through here, because it really feels like you should be able to. And yeah, as far as this thing goes, I have no idea what this is. Inside of it, I mean, this is what it looks like. There's nothing really in here. Just, well, I guess that was in there at one point and broke out the bottom of it. I really hope it doesn't freeze me too. There's definitely a lot of similarities with Call of the Dead in here. However, one thing Call of the Dead did not have was this area up above. There's some windows here that we can see inside of, and if we go ahead and no-clip on through, we can see there is a little area that we can walk around in. There's some panels here which have some blood over them, and there's also like these little control modules that we saw in like the bridge of the ship, and there's also this, which looks like one of the moon computer things that you do the Simon Says on. I mean, surely this is the exact same model, except updated here in Black Ops 4. Really cool to see that. At the back, we got a doorway, so let's go ahead and hop on through it. Where are we? What? Yeah, so it seems like there is a little bit of liminal space between, but right on the other side is this window location that we checked out earlier here in the cargo hold. So kind of cool to see that. And also right above it, I should probably mention, well, the ceiling of that room that we were just in is literally inches below the top deck of the ship. Anyways, hopping on down from here, let's go ahead and go over to this side, which normally has Jug, but instead we got this. I really do feel like if it wasn't for this perk system in Black Ops 4, and I suppose also all of like the boss zombie types, I didn't really love that either. I think this game would have been fantastic. Like, it really could have been BO3 2.0. It really just feels like they fumbled the bag at the finish line, because the map designers are so good, man. This place feels amazing. We got a window location. Let's hop into it. It looks almost identical to another one we saw with the hard hats on the wall. Little area around the corner for zombies to spawn. And we do have a door here, but of course this one doesn't lead to anywhere. Just some liminal space here at the front of the boat. And if we go ahead and make our way up the stairs real quick, we are immediately met with another window location, which, hopping on inside, we got ourselves a nifty tool chest. But other than that, just a place for some zombies to spawn here around the corner, and some textures here clipping through the wall. Looks like a chain, actually. Yeah, I guess it's this one. But other than that, there's not a lot going on in here. Around the other side, however, we do have like a little sister window, which is kind of the same shape, although the modeling does look quite a bit different. And the cool thing is, if I just go right through this wall, we immediately go to the other location. So it does look like they fully use the entire space between these walls, just like they did on Call of the Dead. Alright, so we have covered all of the normal space of Call of the Dead, all of the places that was on the original map, and all we have left is this facility here up on the hillside. I'm really not sure what to expect here, but let's go ahead and go right in. So immediately up here, of course, we have a big old entrance to go through, but on the right, there's another one of these barriers with the little red X. So again, I'm assuming there's some kind of way that you can open this up and then get access to this area over here as well, which does have a jump pad, so maybe this will fling it back to the lighthouse. And there's even another one of these that leads on over towards this section, which is just more catwalk area and then yet another zip line going back on down towards the spawn. Oh, and there's a target. Pick up snowballs. I mean, surely this is just telling me to do it, right? Doesn't really seem to do anything, though. And I noticed right here on the front of the building, there's a big old hole in the wall. So let's go ahead and go on into it. I imagine this is not playable space. Definitely doesn't look like it. The objects in here do not have collision, but this is definitely a cool little space. Well, I say little, but I mean, it's pretty big. Dude, there's collision up here, too. I mean, this is awesome, man. You could just walk over all of this. Can I tightrope it? Hold on, let's see. Oh my god, you can. And walking on some of the barriers here above the building, you can see some of the liminalness towards the back. Gives you a decent idea of how some of this was constructed, and I always think that's really cool. And there's just a big old concrete slab back there. I wonder what that's for. I suppose we'll find out in just a bit. Anything inside the big old dome, though? Nah, it doesn't look like it. Although, interestingly enough, there's a hole towards the back. It kind of feels like someone put this on backwards, doesn't it? So obviously, I don't really know the window locations of this section of the map, but I imagine that these things I'm looking at right here are them. So let's go ahead and hop on into it. This one doesn't seem like there's a lot of space here. I imagine zombies just spawn somewhere back here and then crawl their way on out towards you. And I think the same can be said for this one as well. Although there's a little bit more space here, and around the corner, we can see some of the textures clipping through the wall. But I think it's time that we make our way into the facility, right? So, yeah, let's go in here. Definitely looks like a fun place. Oh, boy. So, to our left, we got a window location here. Let's go ahead and hop on into it. We actually have a pretty decent-sized hallway here, and there's a texture here that just clips on through. Wow, so you can't see that from inside the map, huh? Well, no, you can. You can totally see that from inside the map. All I gotta do is jump. Maybe that is supposed to be called out, and because the game doesn't know that I'm supposed to be here right now, it hasn't done so, but definitely pretty strange. And we also have this window location here, which if we hop on into it, has a little desk, it looks like, and at the back, an area here for zombies to spawn around the corner. I honestly have no idea which way I should go first, but I'm just going to choose this direction. Let's go ahead and hop on through this door. And, what am I looking at here? Uncle Eddie was mean to my monkey. Did Richtofen throw the monkey into the fire? Is this like a reference to Doris? Where you can throw a monkey bomb into the fire and then Samantha yells at you? I wonder if that's what's going on here, or if that's just, like, supposed to be some lore about monkey bombs. I'm not exactly sure. Me and Fluffy. But who's that? I have no idea. The angels say one day we will be happy at the house. And I'm guessing the house is Agartha, right? Like from Revelations? I'm assuming that's Dr. Monty's house, at least. It certainly looks like it. All right, yeah. This is outside, though. What about outside the map? What do we got going on? So, of course, we have this area over here, which it doesn't look like you can normally walk here. And there is a window location, so let's go ahead and hop on into it. Just a very dark area with a whole bunch of pipage. And looking towards this direction, it seems like we got a whole bunch of minecarts, and oh my god, this tunnel is huge, dude. This place is massive, and there's a whole lot of 115, too. We also have this room, which, oh my god, it has this. It has the sock puppet, the beast, I suppose. Can we do anything with it? Can I knife it? Can I shoot it? Can I interact with it? Why is it metal? Strange. Oh my god, it has pencils and, like, nails for teeth. That is... Samantha is into some wicked shit, man. I'll tell you what. But this space is awesome, dude. I love this. This is amazing. So here's what it looks like from the liminal space of the map. It's just a big old area with a whole bunch of these, like, rocks around it. And I imagine those rocks are what's creating these interior walls, making you feel like you're inside of a cave. What a really cool way to add some atmosphere to this building, man. There's also this area up above us, so let's go ahead and fly on up here. It doesn't look like this is playable space, although we do have collision with all of it. And there's a whole bunch of control panels here at the back that I don't think you could normally see. I imagine zombies spawn back here, then they can jump on out towards the playable space at you. There's also this area right next to it, although there's no collision in it, and it doesn't really seem like there's any modeling either, just a very dark space. Oh, there's a projector. I wonder if I can put, like, reels in there like it's Kino. Certainly makes me want to. I have no idea if you can, but it doesn't seem like... What am I, a vampire? This light doesn't block. All right, moving onward. We got a door to go through. Let's go ahead and hop on in through it. There's nothing here in the interim, but if we go ahead and... Well, I bought the door. That happened.
Brain-dead scientists. Well, that about sums it up.
Seems like there's some sort of crystal here inside of whatever you want to call this container. Although... Is that a potato? That looks like a potato. You know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you guys have ever played Portal, but this reminds me a lot of, like, the GLaDOS potato thing. I imagine that's not supposed to be a reference to it, but At least in my mind it is. Around the room, it looks like we have a few windows to check out. Let's go ahead and start with this one. It looks very interesting, and I want to see what's going on. I mean, first of all, the door has been knocked down, probably by zombies, and inside of here, well, I mean, there's a lot of blood, but there's also this bookshelf with a whole lot of stuff on it. Although it looks like most of the books are just like war tactics and encyclopedias, so there's nothing too interesting. They're pretty generic. But there is a lot of props here on the wall, and at the back, of course, on the desks, we got a few things like some of these, but there's not really anything going on in the files either. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. There's something in here. Ah, that went by too quick for me to read it. I don't know what that said. And making our way towards whatever this thing is, some kind of massive steam engine? I don't know. Well, we can go towards the bottom here, and in these containers, it looks like we got some zombies, huh? If we get up close to them, it doesn't seem like they're special, are they? Oh no, they're special. There's something going on with these guys. So looking at this guy's face, I don't recognize him immediately. Although this could just be Nikolai, I'm not entirely sure, or at least some kind of version of him. But what is obvious is his hands. He kind of looks like a werewolf. He's got some crazy nails going on. And of course, as we saw just a second ago, his back has like spikes as well. It seems like he's mutated quite a bit. And then we got the guy in this container, which definitely looks like Dempsey. Although maybe I'm just seeing things, but he's the reason why I said there's something going on here. It seems like he has a knife for a hand here. Kind of crazy. A little bit of a prosthetic going on, although maybe like a bio-prosthetic? I don't exactly know. And lastly, we got this gentleman, which definitely looks like Takeo. But for some reason, he has a massive overgrown hand. So is this trying to say that Group 935 was working on, like, some bio weapons, essentially? Making clones of the main characters and then forming them to be weapons? Like, that guy clearly could claw some eyes out. This man's a bit stabby, and, well, this guy, wonder what that hand does, you know what I mean? Oh my god. I just noticed the area is called Human Infusion, so I suppose it makes sense. Well, around here we do have a bunch of spaces like this one, for instance, that we can just fly on into that is normally not accessible by the player, and it looks like there's an area here for zombies perhaps to spawn and come on out towards the window. I gotta say, this facility has some of the coolest window locations we've seen so far. Going over here to the other side of the room, we got more of this. Let's go ahead and hop on into this one. Again, a whole bunch of space that just wraps around this entire area. Oh, there's a barrier here, unfortunately. I can't walk further that way. But I love this stuff, man. Like, window locations that are way bigger than they need to be just to really add to the feel of the area, making you feel like the facility is larger than it is, and giving you that sense of wonder. Like, what else is in this facility? What else did they not show us? And over here, well, we can see some more of it. There's a big old lab here.
Something tells me they weren't big on due process here.
And I actually had a voice line coming in here. I don't know if that's because I came in here or if that's just like, maybe that's this human infusion room. I'm not sure. But inside of here, it definitely looks like it's some kind of lab. And we have this guy. Some dude undergoing some surgery and being implanted with 115 in his, like, chest cavity. There's a bunch of cooling boards here with, I guess, more of these guys in them. And we can even see some other stuff, like a foot here, and, well, not sure what that is. Kind of looks like a hand. And, of course, plenty of x-rays. Dude, this is a awesome room, and it really reminds me of 5. Like, really reminds me of 5. There's even these, like, iron lung-looking things here, too. And this guy on the table really looks like the surgery guy from 5 as well, just kind of updated for Black Ops 4, and, well... I mean, they're putting some 115 in them. Yeah, 10 out of 10 on this window location. This is awesome. Oh, and power's in here. Let's go ahead and turn that on. That probably would have been nice earlier.
Хорошо, good. Now Lighthouse has power enough to activate golden pack-a-punch machine. Much better than normal machine. Plenty bang for buck. He's out on a little island near ship. Just try not to get killed out there, okay?
Thanks, Nikolai. Nikolai, where are you, dude? Can you, like, where you at? You know, that really didn't add a lot of light in here, I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping it would. Although it lets you see these guys a lot better, though, doesn't it? I'm also noticing there's this area up here that you can't normally get to. It has a bunch of control panels, and we can walk around in it, but there's not exactly a lot of space. And, of course, beyond it, I mean, well, there's this. Oh, my God. Such liminal activity going on here. And just because we can, let's take a look at this area from outside. As we can see, it's just like a concrete slab here, which is a really cool space. And around the side, I saw there's this, which is like a little platform here that just extends further than it needs to. And if we go through the door, we can see where this was. It's in a window location we checked out earlier in that same room. And lastly, for this human infusion room, there's this big old vault door, which I imagine is Easter egg related. Like, surely there's even like little key card slots here. So let's go ahead and no clip on through it. What do we got on the other side? Oh, okay. Kind of looks like a bank vault, actually. Got like a bunch of like safety deposit boxes and another vault door here at the back, which doesn't lead to anywhere. There's just nothingness here on the other side. Bunch of liminal space. So I guess that right there is probably why you open the vault door, which is the little Samantha figurine, which you can find this on various maps. It's on the remake of Ascension. It's also in Samantha's bedroom in various versions where you can find that. I think even in like the original Kino. And I think most notably where you can find this entire thing is on Der Reisendrache, where if you interact with it, it actually plays like a little tune. Cool to see that it's in here. I wonder what its purpose is. Probably some kind of Easter egg part or something. Wonder if you gotta play that tune somewhere and then it like creates the next step. Man, I gotta look into the Easter egg of this map. I bet it's awesome. But alright, it's time to move on. We got 2 doors to choose from and I choose this. Let's go ahead and hop on through. And we are met with this room, the Decontamination. It looks like in here we have one window location at the back. Let's go ahead and hop on into the bathroom here. We got a whole bunch of urinals as well as some stalls here. And, well, it looks like this toilet, well, something happened to it. There's some hot coals here on the ground. I guess someone ate too much spicy food, huh? And I'm noticing up here on the wall, there's like a little light as well. Yeah, not exactly sure what this is either. Probably just some artifact of some LODs clipping through the wall, but really cool to see. And we also have this stall. If we go ahead and hop on into it, well, it does have a toilet in it. It is modeled, and that same situation with the light is seen up here in the corner too. Pretty cool window location, and if we go ahead and try to go to the female bathroom, well, we're met with nothingness. A very liminal space here, although it does have an area that we can walk around, which I always do appreciate. Dude, the modeling of this map is just awesome, man. Fantastic job to the developers. We also have this window location, it looks like. I didn't notice this before, but it's a little space here with some cages, probably for the dogs or the monkeys, maybe. And then there's this, which I'm not sure what they were working on, but interesting. Moving on through this door right here, it looks like we got a staircase. Let's go ahead and fly on up it. Oh, this just brings us back to here. So this is where we came in at. So let's go ahead and tread on back and go through that door that we haven't gone through yet. Yeah, this one. It looks like this brings us to the specimen storage. In other words, a jail cell. Something vodka day. Hooray vodka day? Is that what that says? There's a bunch of liquor here. Vodka tonight. Reach for vodka tonight. But where is vodka? Where is vodka? I thought I had an extra bottle. Wouldn't it be better if I had the vodka bottle? But Nikolai is now vodka-powered. Nothing can kill Nikolai. Did you know that Stalin himself fears me? That is why he put me in the front line. He thought he could kill Nikolai. Wow. So this is definitely Nikolai's jail cell. And I'm guessing these other 2 are for Dempsey and Takio? Where am I? What is this place? I know who something named Tank Dempsey something. What does that say? Yeah, I can't quite make that out. If Dr. Sauerkraut thinks he can break me, he's got another thing coming. Semper Fi. Damn asylum, damn sauerkraut messing with my head. So I'm guessing this is Dempsey's little spot, which means that this area is probably Takio. I wish I could something I have done. I wish I could restore honor to the Masaki name. Perhaps time will show it is not I who failed the Empire, but the Emperor itself. Honestly, kind of gives me chills. I'm not gonna lie. The Emperor was right to send me here. Dude, Takio. Takio is real down in the dumps, it looks like. Bunch of blood here, man. What happened to this guy? I had no choice. I had to report to the Emperor what I saw at the facility. It was a great evil that could not be allowed. But perhaps time will be kind. Maybe it will be a good teacher. Wow, I really didn't expect this from this map. But just looking around at like the surrounding like things on the wall, the atmosphere here makes you feel stuff, man. It's kind of crazy. So I guess the original 3 characters, obviously minus Richthofen, were all stored here and then made into bioweapons. Those bioweapons that we see over here, obviously. I'm not sure what timeline this is, like what version of the characters these are. But I guess in this universe, Richtofen fooled the other 3 characters and then forced them into this facility, the prison, I suppose, and experimented on them. Made them into bioweapons. Kind of crazy, man. Well, inside this room, we do have a couple window locations. We might as well hop on into it. There isn't much going on in this one, and I'm afraid the same is probably true about this as well. If we just hop on into it, we got a few lockers, but other than that, there's not much going on in it. But right outside of it, we can see what was going on here. Definitely some plans for, I guess, Dempsey, probably, right? The one with the spike hand. Oh, and this just leads us out to here, where we were before. Man, so I guess that's all, dude. That's unfortunate. I don't know why, but I just wanted there to be more after that. Well, that is awesome. I love this facility. They really did great. This is a great addition to the map. And it really makes me want to check out the Easter egg, which perhaps in a different series that's coming soon, I'll be doing just that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is Tag Der Toten. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like down below. It helps me out a ton. And of course, make sure to subscribe so you can come back for more, because there is a ton more content to cover outside these maps. And if you want to watch more of my content, you can click one of the videos on your screen right now, but if not, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay awesome, and peace out.